It is another episode of Level Up today, and this is a fun one because as things are opening up again, one of the things it means we can do is we can get out there and we can spend a little bit of money, go shopping, do all that sort of stuff. And with that, what better thing to talk about this week than the stuff that we're spending some money on to make our clients happy? And that's exactly what we're going to do. This week on Level Up, we are talking about leveling up your client gifting.
Building a successful real estate career requires you to adapt, pivot, and constantly master new skills.
We're Katie and Daniel Steinfeld. We've built our own innovative brokerage, and in this podcast, we've assembled actionable tips and strategies that you can implement to take your business to its maximum potential.
It's time to level up. Level up. Level up.
And we're leveled up. We're in the office today. We're in different rooms for one of the first times ever, which is kind of exciting. So it's good to be.
Sit beside you much.
I know. I kind of smell funny.
No, you're free. You can stretch out your arms. You can do stuff. It's better.
I guess I could stretch out my arms when I'm sitting next to you. I just hit you.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as comfortable.
That's okay.
So
we've got our backdrops going on now, so that's good.
I know.
But anyway, yeah. So isn't it fun to be able to spend money again? It kind of is for me.
There was this person I follow on Instagram, and she was talking about how outside has gotten so much more expensive because all of us have been sitting at home for the last year and a half. And we're lucky enough to have not spent much money and have still made pretty good money with what we do. And she's just saying now she's going out and she's going to order lobster and all of this stuff over lunch because she can and she feels like she's able to. So I feel like it's true. Outside has gotten so much more expensive. We are feeling way too much freedom these days, just shelling out the money.
It feels good though. It is kind of a good segue. Not that I really want to get off that topic because I want to talk about the next things we're going to buy in our own lives right now, but that's a whole other discussion. But it is kind of that feeling you get when you're a realtor that, let's be real, paychecks as a realtor on a transactional basis can get pretty big, and you can come into a fairly large sum of money fairly quickly with a client. And so what we're going to talk about today is one of the many ways that you share that wealth, so to speak, and buy some things that aren't for yourself, assuming this is a gift that's even money related, which we could talk about. It doesn't even have to be something necessarily you're spending money on. But now that we're able to get out there and shell out the cash, spend that cheddar.
Well, we were able to before.
I know it's different, and it's true. I haven't even been going to stores at all. It just feels different. It's like I'm seeing people more, and it just feels like now's the time to start kind of being normal-ish again. But in any case, it doesn't mean that we went on a spending and gifting hiatus for the last year and a half. But But it is kind of a nice difference. Now you're right. Now I feel the need. So if you're one of my current clients, you're about to get really lucky because you're getting lobster instead of Happy Meals now.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I find every agent has their own opinion on gifting. There's one side of the coin that people say, well, no, I'm not going to give my client a gift.
I am the gift.
The service was the gift. And then there's other people that shell out thousands of dollars on their clients. So it really differs. But I think we're kind of in the middle, I would say.
Yeah, and I guess, and you're right. Everybody's different. Even regardless of the type of clients or dollar value of transactions, not everybody has an equation that dictates, well, if I'm making $50,000, X percent of that is going to go back to my clients in the form of some sort of a closing gift. Because I know agents of ours who do lease transactions and they are very generous with what they give back to their clients. And it speaks to a larger reason that this isn't just an obligation, or this isn't something that needs to be formula driven. This is really a huge part of decisions you make in running your business and growing your business. And so that's a really important thing to talk about today. We're definitely going to talk about ideas, and we'll throw ideas out there, and we invite everyone who's listening and watching, definitely share with us your ideas. We always hear really cool things people are doing with their marketing, with their gifting, things like that. And we've learned and copied ideas ourselves with clients. So we will talk about that, but also the whole concept of gifting and why we do it, when it's a good idea, when maybe it's not a good idea. I really want to dive into that because, we've done it different ways, and there's not a right answer, but there's some value in understanding why.
Well, yeah, like why do you give gifts to your clients? I'm talking to you.
For me, first and foremost, it feels good to make people happy, right? And there is a future benefit to it, I think. And I think it's a great way to keep relationships moving and keep communication going, depending on what your gifting strategy is and when and how you do it. But before all of that, it's kind of equal parts a thank you and gratitude for the business and for the trust people have put in me. But also it's an opportunity to kind of continue their win, share the good fortune that I had to, obviously they know that I got paid and made money off the transaction, but it's my way of saying thank you, but it's also a way of showing that I care, seeing them happy, being relevant and not vanilla with here's, a bottle of wine and a check for $500 and a cutting board. Yeah. But didn't we get we got a cheese set when we closed on our house from the builder, didn't we? Or was it a martini set?
Yeah, we also got that cooler, which came in handy, like that
was a
Tiffany
cooler.
Park cooler.
Name dropping the builder. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Do we still have that cooler?
Yeah, we do. We used it for like baseball games and like a little bit of camping. It's like one of those coolers that's not massive, but it's good for like day trips or going to the beach or something like that. I like it. It's a good gift.
Well, there you go. There's the first bonus idea for people to give as a gift to people. Get a really big cooler.
It's hard. Okay, so there's I guess there's just different ways you can do it. I know agents who have pre-bought stuff, whether it's a cutting board with their logo on it or wine bottles that are we do wine bottles, like champagne bottles with our brokerage on it. So I know there's some agents that have the preset gifts that they just give to all of their clients, which I see the benefit of because you're not scrambling all the time to find something for your client at the last minute. But there's also those people that will personalize gifts a little bit more if they can. The challenge I find with that, and I try to do that as much as possible, and throughout the customer experience, I try to listen in on things that I could potentially get them or something that interests them. And it's like, okay, that's what I should, for example, if they have a favorite beer and then on closing, you kind of go into the listing right before they go to the house and fill their fridge with beer, of their favorite beer, something like that. But those are the kinds of things I like because it shows that you listened and showed that you cared. But you aren't getting that information from all of your clients all the time. So I guess that's a bit of a challenge, but I guess the challenge to me when I start working with somebody is that I just have to start asking those questions and getting to know them on a more personal basis.
Right. Well, gifting, I think, it's if you don't have enough reasons already to build your relationship and grow that and learn more about your clients, add gifting to the list because that is, I think, the number one lesson we've learned with what we give and share with our clients is the more you know about them, the easier it is to just like anybody, if you're buying a Christmas gift for somebody, it's like if you know what they're dealing with or what they've been looking for, if they gave you their Christmas list, you've got things to choose from. So yeah, if somebody likes a certain beer, if somebody's just had a baby or life events or things like that, there's a lot of reasons you can be relevant. I also sometimes will like to play off of the experience we had working together. If there was a funny story, if there's something that happened, and even just as a gag gift, if there's something you give them to remember the relationship you had, right? This isn't something branded or anything like that, but I don't know. I mean, if something happened, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like if something happened, I had the showing where I got picked up by the paramedics from the showing, right? And that kind of left the story of that particular showing. If I would have given a kind of a funny, like, doctor kit or something, or, you know what I mean? Like something as just like a funny, not as the gift, but like things that you can give that are just kitschy to kind of give them kind of this, oh yeah, that was funny. That wasn't funny. Me getting taken away by paramedics, bad example, but.
Okay, but I don't think you could drop that on people and not explain what happened.
Have I not talked about this in another episdo? Maybe
I don't think so. And even if you have, I think you need to talk about it now.
Okay, well, that'll be my gift to this episode. That was, how do I tell that story really quickly, though? Okay, the quick version of the story is I was probably, well, now I know I wasn't, but I was pretty sure I wasn't in a good condition to go do a showing, and woke up, wasn't feeling well, but it was a different kind of not feeling well, and I figured I could power through. So I drove what was the equivalent of about a half an hour on highway driving to get to my client, or to get to a showing with a new client. This was the first showing I had with this particular client. So I think I felt a certain amount of responsibility to not let them down, even though I wasn't feeling well. So on Highway 427, on the way down there, half or all, most of my body kind of shut down physically. And so I wasn't able to really drive. I kind of was like, I sort of went partially paralyzed. It was very odd. I was having dizzy spells and all that, but I was on cruise control and I was able to steer with like my knees and my elbows or whatever. But anyway, it was a straight line of driving, which was good, but it wasn't a good experience. I managed to get to where the showing was. I was there a bit early, and I just sat on a curb outside and just tried to catch my breath. Wasn't feeling well. Just things weren't right. Showing showed up. I was sitting in the lobby, visibly not well. But I said, like, let's just do the showing, and I'll
here.
Figure this out afterwards. Yeah, we're here already. I've made it this far. And yeah, we were in the condo. I mean, I was just not well. I asked if she was okay with me sitting on the couch because I looked like I was on death's doorstep. And the next thing I knew, I just passed out on the couch and was just in buckets of sweat, and I don't think I could piece words together. I was able to tell her to take my phone, I think, and call you. Is that what happened? I don't even remember.
No, I remember you calling me, and
I called you.
Like,
you
called me and told me to call 911, and
That's like straight out of a sitcom. What's the number for 911?
Yeah, well, but the thing was, it's like, obviously I was going to do it, but when you're not even in the room, and calling 911, like, it's one of those things, like, I think as a kid, you were so petrified not to call. So when somebody tells you to call 911, I was actually I'm like, should I be doing this? Like, how serious is this? And I wasn't there, so I didn't know. So anyway, I ended up calling, and I think your client called as well, because obviously the paramedics have like the records of all of these locations and all that. So they're asking me all these questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not there. I was just told to call 911. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think your client actually gave the right information. And by the time I got to you, you were already in the ambulance. And yeah, I mean, it all worked out. It turned out to be...
It all worked out.
It turned out to be an anxiety attack, right? I think.
Yeah, well, and that's a whole. I mean, we could do an episode or several episodes on. I mean, I don't know if it's a mental health thing or whatever, but anxiety and panic.
Yeah.
But if we're going to pull it full circle,
back to client gifting.
well, yeah, that was an experience that, because it ended well, we could look back on it and laugh. And to this day, the young lady I took out that day on our first showing, now she bought very quickly after that. I don't know if she was just worried I might die if she didn't buy a place. But
pretty much,
we developed a really good relationship. And that was one of a couple of really not usual stories that I've had with clients, that I've had with her, that have really been that glue for our relationship. And it's created this story and this thing to go back to that is kind of what I'm getting at here. So those are the sorts of things, the stories and the experiences that should help. They don't always have to dictate. Your gift doesn't always have to be like the most thoughtful thing ever that has to do with that little conversation that you may not even remember. However, when there's big things that happen, even, and I would argue even the bad things, especially the bad things that you power through, they make for really good ideas to just lead you towards the kinds of things you can get to reinforce your relationship and to show that you're thinking when you get somebody a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the best way to people's hearts is either through their pets or through their kids. Those are the number one. Like, I'd much rather somebody give my kid a present versus me, because, you know, you react in a certain way, and it's very, very thoughtful of somebody to do that for your kids.
And with kids, there's so many angles, because it's not just about finding out what the kids like. Like, okay, they're big fans of G.I. Joe, whatever, or Roblox.
G.I. Joe, you're bringing it back.
I tried to switch it up quickly to Roblox, which isn't even in anymore. They're Among Us fans or whatever.
Is G.I. Joe even a thing?
G.I. Joe, I think, no, isn't that, okay, I was pretty sure that one of these new movies that came out, that's like one of these new action movies, it's not called G.I. Joe, but I'm pretty sure it's based off of G.I. Joe. It's like new age G.I. Joe. I could see
The Rock playing G.I. Joe.
Really? Well, was G.I. Joe a person, though? I thought G.I. Joe was the actual, like, crew. Like, they were, I mean, it is like this. Joe, you'd think is the name of a guy, but anyway, off of G.I. Joe. All I'm saying is you might play off of what the kid likes, but also the same way as with your clients, if there's something, if you know that the kid is feeling really bummed out about moving to a new house, or if the kid said something when you went on the showing asking about something in the house or whatever, the things you can pull from that might seem minor at the time are humongous if you're able to deliver against something that the kid said. Yeah. Or that you know about how the kid's feeling, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to pets, like, I've done now 2 pet, like, watercolor portraits for clients. And the first one we gave it to, it was a client of both of ours, sent us this adorable video, and like, they were in tears. Like, it was so sweet. And they have the picture up right at their front door as people walk into the house. So, like, those are the kinds of things that are just so memorable, because they look at that picture now, and, you know, I mean, I don't want to be full of myself and think that they think of us every time, but I mean, you'd assume that if it's something that they're using and, you know, seen a lot, you'd figure that they'd probably be thinking of you at least some of the time, hopefully.
For sure. Right. Which is an argument against giving things that are consumable.
That's right.
Moment it's done, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why, like, you've got the cheese boards or the
That's right. Not the cheese. Not the cheese.
Don't get the cheese. Get the board with your name on it. But yeah, it's like, go on.
I was going to say, as an aside to that too, which seems minor, but depending on what your gifts are, it's actually a big deal. Gifts are tax deductible. Yeah. So as a business, when you're giving a gift, this is an expense against your business. And if the gift you're giving is not food, like, food technically is supposed to be taxed at half, deductible at half of what other gifts are. You can give a gift, like, if you gave a gift card to Old Navy, that's a full deduction. If you give a gift card to the Keg, that's a half deduction. So even just to be able to make your dollars go farther, don't give people food, because they're not going to remember it when it's gone.
Oh.
Well, if you're doing your taxes correctly.
Okay.
I mean,
I was going to say,
like, if you're just bucketing it in as gift. You don't think I do our taxes correctly?
No, I just don't think people would, I don't know.
Think about that?
Yeah.
It depends on how much you gift. If it's whatever. I'm just saying that's how it's
My
supposed
point
to
is
be.
completely useless.
Well, if you want to follow the law.
Nobody wants to follow the law here.
All right, this isn't about tax law. It's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But anyway, either way, the consumability of things is an important point. If you're giving somebody something that's going to be gone after they use it, there's nothing to remember you by.
Right, and that's the thing. And I do gravitate towards gift cards quite a bit because it's easier, frankly. And I feel like people will actually use it. I'm always concerned, and maybe I think too much about this, about how useful a gift will be. Like, I mean, I'm obviously thinking about it because I want to give them something that they'll actually use, but a gift card isn't just one of those things that it's like, oh yeah, I happen to have a gift card for the store, so whatever. Because that's how I react. Like, it's really nice when somebody gives you a gift card, but it's not like you go out and use it right away, usually. It's kind of one of those things that's always hanging out in your wallet. And if you happen to be in that store, I usually forget about it, actually, when I'm in the store.
We've got like one of those like cue card boxes full of all the gift cards that are unused. Like, if we went on a shopping spree, we've got like thousands of dollars. And can you remember any of the sources who gave you those gift cards?
No.
Now, you're right, though. I love getting gift cards. Like, as a gift, it's probably my favorite gift because it lets me figure things out later.
Yeah.
But thoughtful wise and actually connecting it to the gift giver, it's not. It just looks like something that was like at our kids' school, they've got a fundraiser every year where they sell you could buy gift cards in bulk, and we just like dominate that thing, like getting tons. And it's more for gifts for like teachers and things like that. But we're doing that not with somebody in mind, right? So at a minimum, if you are a gift card giving gifter, which is fine, try at least to make the gift card from a source that has some degree of relevance. If you know that your clients are going to be doing a big reno project, give them $500 or $1,000 at Home Depot or whatever, right? Like, give them something towards what it is that you know that they need instead of, here's Amazon, knock yourself out. Yeah. Right? Amazon's got enough money over the last year and a half, so someone else can use your support. Or do things that are local, which a lot of people do, especially if you're a farming type realtor or you're focused on a community, smaller town. Support your local businesses and build. I mean, we know a couple of our colleagues, like Jessica Hellard is great at this out in Kingston, that she just creates baskets out of things from her Kingston neighborhood. Community. That is just, and I make Kingston like it's a small town. I know Kingston's humongous, but like in her immediate area, she supports those businesses as a means, not just for gifting, but for building her own farming and all of that at the same time. Yeah. Gifting doesn't have to live in isolation, right? It can be part of your business plan, and even sourcing the gifts can be part of your business plan as well. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be just after closing. It could be throughout the year. It could be like well into the future. Like, you don't have to drop, and depending on how much money you spend, like, you don't have to drop hundreds of dollars like right on the closing day. It could be spread out. And a lot of times that's kind of nicer because you can surprise people when they least expect it, which is always the best surprise. And I like a few tips on just knowing what to give your client. If you can follow them on social media, you can get kind of like a behind the scenes look at their life beyond their search for real estate or their selling of their house. So that can give you a lot of clues as to what they really like and what interests them. And another one, which I'm completely forgetting right now. Oh, yes. If you happen to know like family members or friends that, like, if you've been referred to by a family or friend, you can reach out to them as well and just say, like, I just want to get them something that I think they'll really like and value. What kinds of things do they like? And so you can get kind of like an insider's perspective that way as well. I'm going to throw something into that as well on that note. And this is at the risk of current clients of mine listening to this episode, because it's about part of a gift I'm going to be getting for them, which hasn't come yet. But I met their parents on their last buyer visit two sets of parents who are super excited and proud of their kids for buying their first home. So the parents are going to get gifts as well that reinforce how big a moment this was in their kid's life, right? Which is kind of the inverse of getting something for kids or pets. Yeah. But anything is a good idea. Like when you see the importance and the things that are relevant to your clients' lives, you can't go wrong if you're trying, right? Yeah. Like I want to believe, I'm sure there's clients out there who sit there saying, wow, you're making so much money, I better get a big gift, or you better be spending a lot of money on me. But I want to believe the vast majority either aren't even expecting a gift,
right,
or would I'm going to mix my words here, but will appreciate considerably more thoughtful over how many dollars. Like they just spent $1 million on a house. An extra couple of hundred on a gift isn't going to make or break them versus something that they can keep and that really resonates with them about such a life event that they've gone through, right, or whatever's to come going forward. Yeah. It doesn't have to be about the home purchase. It could be about life events that are coming, something for the house. If, like you've talked about creeping them, you've talked about making discussion. If when you're doing your showings, if they talk about, even we've seen like staging that's done and they say, wow, I love that table, or wow, I love that artwork, or whatever.
Right.
If you can go to the listing agent, go to the stager, find out where they got those things. And if you could actually get that for them, or if you could even, same idea, like that's a gift card idea maybe, right? Like if you know it came from some obscure store and you can get them a gift card there that has all sorts of cool stuff and say, this is from the place where you saw that.
Yeah.
That is thoughtful. A gift card can be thoughtful, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, like going off that example, and this isn't a client of mine, but just, through social media, somebody said they really liked a top I was wearing. And, it just got me thinking, like, it's not her birthday coming up anytime soon. It's not Christmas, but like, wouldn't it be cool if I just bought her the top? Because like, usually I'm struggling to find ideas for her. So I don't know. I kind of prefer just, giving people gifts throughout the year when it comes to mind, as opposed to feeling forced into something on a certain day when you just don't even know what the heck to give them. Like your brother's birthday's coming up, and like I'm like, what do we get him? It's so hard. But I feel like if we would have done something maybe earlier in the year when we were actually thinking about it, we could have gotten him a better gift. And now we're going to suck because we're going to get him like
we are going to suck
a stupid gift card or something.
But that's it's
with a thought that counts. We put thought into it, and that's just all we've got for you.
We're thinking now we'll just give him thought. We'll make him a nice barbecue. But I think the point you just hit on, though, like to me, if there's anything people can take out of this, it's that. And you don't have to just give gifts all the time, but the power of the unexpected is what makes a gift powerful, right? So if it is in the proto or the stereotypical time of right after closing, then be unexpected with something that shows you thought, right? But in any case, if you can do things at all the times no one sees it coming, and then with the things nobody sees coming, it's super powerful. And that's that's not just in real estate. That's just like everything. It's not even just in gifting. It's in the way you communicate. We talk about touch points and communicating. That's a huge touch point. Don't get me wrong, sending gifts out. We talk about sending cards out every once in a while, handwritten notes, but the personal element and the thought you put into it that shows that these people are not just numbers, right? These are relationships that you remember, that you value, that you want to grow and continue. You can only do that by putting the effort in. And there's lots of services out there, and I think that they were good ones, and I don't know if they still exist. Like we used to see at some of the real estate conferences in the past, like these services that will automate gifts for you, like over the course of a year, and they'll like curate, whatever the word is, they'll send out things, which is great. Like that's still a great thing to do, and it will still surprise people. But build off of that yourself. Take the extra time and actually curate your own gifts and build into your CRM a gift strategy, not just I'm going to make a phone call strategy.
Right.
But what do you think about that, though? Because you also brought up a good point with maybe it's not every quarter I'm going to send a gift. Maybe it's just when something comes to me or when I hear something.
Right.
Is that more powerful than doing something that's on a schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think the risk there is that people might fall through the cracks. Because you might not think about everybody in your database all the time. And I'm not saying you're going to give gifts to everybody in your database, depending on how many people you have. But I think when you start thinking in that way, where it's like, okay, like, you know, keeping in mind little cues and little hints that people throw your way, I think you generally just become more aware of what people are saying. And like, it even just improves your listening skills overall, not just with regards to like tips on gifts, but it's just like you're listening to them, you're hearing them. And that's the difference. There's a difference. There's hearing and there's listening. And like when you're actively listening to somebody, whoa, am I hearing? Is this just me? Okay.
That's ironic that you're talking about hearing and listening and now you don't hear yourself.
No, I'm just hearing a lot of scratching. Is that just my side or is that you too?
I hear nothing other than your beautiful voice.
Maybe I should stop moving. But yeah, no, I just think that if you're actively listening to anyone in life, and I'm looking at you because like I always need to do a better job of actively listening with you. But it makes such a difference to the relationship and just to the whole quality of how you show up with them.
I'm just going to agree with that. I'll leave it at that. But yes, there's so much value in actually listening. And I don't know if you remember the movie White Men Can't Jump, but I'll never forget there was a discussion between Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. They were talking about music, but they were talking about listening to the music instead of just hearing it. And that always resonated with me because you can hear anything, but if you're not really taking it in, feeling it, it's you're only getting if half, you're getting half of what's actually out there. And you become a smile and nod person, which is just
And there's a lot of people, like, that's the thing, and you can tell when people are just hearing you versus listening to you. Like, it's just the quality of the conversation is brutal, and you're just acting like me right now.
Doing it.
But even when it comes to music, like, that's a great example, because I never, ever listen to the lyrics, ever. Maybe now that we have kids, I'm starting to listen to the lyrics more, and I'm like, oh my God, these are horrendous. Yeah. But like I never used to. But there's this funny, there's this viral song on TikTok that a lot of people do things to it. But somebody did a video on what the lyrics actually are, and they're really hard to hear. But this one, it's I don't know if you've seen it before, but like it's when somebody's like in one outfit, and then like it goes to. I've actually used it myself, not for outfits, but for something real estate. But like, it just like goes bam, bam, bam. And I'm just like, you just cut to different like outfits or just different pictures or whatever. But if you actually find out what the lyrics are, and I'm not going to say them because it's like, this is like really bad. It's like, oh my God, like it just makes you realize that you really have to listen, and know what you're putting out there. So. That's just a little sidebar on that whole conversation. Yeah,
I don't know the song, but I'm sure.
I'll show it to you after, gross. But it's really bad. It's really
vulgar.
Bad.
Has our daughter done a video to it?
No, thank God. But if she did, I would like shut her down.
Well, she wouldn't know either. Like they don't know.
She wouldn't know. That's the thing. Remember that song when we were growing up? There was actually a couple ones with that had sex in. Like there was the "I Want to Sex You." Do you remember that song?
Color Me Bad.
Yes. I remember.
Sex you up.
I remember being in the car with my dad when that song came on, and it was so embarrassing. Like, why? Why do we have this song?
You could listen, even the ones that didn't have the word sex. I was thinking about that because I'm so judgy now as a parent of all. And I mean, now it's. Music videos have gone next level with some of the stuff that's happening with that. But like every song we listened to was so suggestive. And like, this is like grade 5 dances, grade 6.
I know, but we were so, I just hope that everybody.
We were so innocent. Oh, we were better kids back then, right?
No. But even kids now, like, I just don't think they realize what it is that they're dancing
don't even know.
to. And part of me is like, I don't really want to.
Really naive.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. Damn it. Anyway, moving on. I don't even know where we got that. Oh, yeah, hearing versus listening. That's what we sidebar.
That's fine.
Anyway.
Listening. Were you? You were.
I was listening.
So we've talked about one thing we didn't talk about, a couple things for gifting. You mentioned branded stuff.
Yes.
The only time that I see branded stuff coming in where it's not super weird is sometimes before a transaction's even done. Like if it's part of your marketing process or when you're working with someone and there's things you give that are helpful to the search process.
Right.
Like if it's actual real estate goods, that's okay. I'm not a fan. And I mean, this is back to like years and years ago when we were on like student council together, like doing branded stuff for everything. I don't like using branded stuff. I don't like getting promo items. I used to. I like free stuff, but like ultimately for me, I'm not a huge fan unless it's something that in the moment is actually useful. Like a
measuring tape. That's always one thing that I've thought of.
Yeah, measuring tape. Yeah, exactly.
Like a branded measuring tape. But yeah.
Anyway, there's that.
I mean, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I do think, like, we were talking before about, like, the cooler that we got from the builder of our house. Like, we still use that. So, it's just about, I think, finding items that most people in general will make use of is the important thing with branded
and be
stuff.
Subtle. I think also be subtle about it. Like, don't make your face the side of the cooler.
Oh,
like if it's a little cute logo.
I don't think I'd
like. I like our logo. Like I would like give away shirts like this, or I would give away things like this because they don't say anything beyond a message that's good, or like a logo that's. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being. But
if
anyway.
anybody wants a T-shirt, comment.
Yeah, we should start.
No. This is what we should do. We are going to give 2 free T-shirts. Two. We're going to start with 2. Because if you've made it through this part, until this part of the podcast, I'm very happy. Mm-hmm. So if you, the first 2 people that message us on our Level Up Instagram account, so at Level Up for Realtors, and give us your size and your color of T-shirt, we will send you a free Level Up T-shirt. And hopefully 2 people reach out to us.
Well, that would be sad.
If not,
if they don't, I'm just making shirts for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make one for you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll do hoodies.
I like hoodies. Hoodies are fun.
It's just tis not the season. But anyway, on that note, though, because a lot of our listeners are realtors, that's another type of gifting that people don't do nearly enough of. And I really like the impact of gifting your colleagues as well. It's not just about clients.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Same.
Or like the seller or the other, like the client on the other side, like seller or buyer, like nothing too crazy, but like
don't like one up everything and be like, man, don't you wish I was your realtor?
Yeah, but there's been times where I'll just leave like a bottle of wine for the new buyer at the house or whatever, like nothing too crazy, but it's nice just to have something. And I'm not trying to take somebody's client. It's just I feel like the nice things you do, the more nice things are going to come back at you.
I don't know. Karma is a thing. It is a thing. And there's nothing wrong with being extra nice. Like, it's how you should be. You should be a thoughtful person. You should appreciate the people around you.
Yeah.
You should be, like we said before, be grateful for the success you're having. Right? Like, things do come full circle. And these minor things in the grand scheme of things, like the time you need to take to be thoughtful and how exponentially good it feels versus the time you take to do these. And on that note, don't feel bad if you don't, because we've had people we've given what we thought are really thoughtful gifts to, and we never hear from them.
I was going to say that, like, you can't control how people react in general, but to your gift, you're right. Like, we've actually like reached out to past clients when we've given them like a card with a gift card inside, and I'm like, oh God, I hope they didn't throw it out because I didn't hear from them. And then you like awkwardly message them because you're like, I don't know if you got this, but just wanted to make sure you got what was inside because I didn't want you to throw it out, kind of thing. And they're like, oh yeah, no, I got it, thanks. And you know, that's the way people are. Like, the people aren't going to be overwhelmingly like thrilled with your gift every time. Yeah. I mean, I would say 90% of the time they're not. Like, almost be happy with the any sort of feedback you get, and don't do it for the feedback either, right? Or don't do it because you think they're going to tag you in this amazing Instagram post, and then you can share it with your followers and all that. No, like, do it because you care, because you've listened through the entire transactional process, and you think that it's something that they'll actually value.
Well, that's it. And I would say most people, maybe not, but I would think most realtors do some sort of a gift anyway. So the point here is just to make sure you're thinking. Take the extra amount of time to think, and whether or not it results in anything different than the reaction you're getting now, positive or negative, that shouldn't be your concern. But like everything else, you should be able to leave the transaction feeling good about the fact that you gave it your all and really did what you could to make it a full experience, beginning to end and beyond, for people.
Right. Yeah.
And you know where they live now too. So that's where you can surprise them with things, drop-bys, like holidays. If they've got kids, again, like we did was it this past Christmas, or was it the Christmas before? I can't even remember.
I think it was this past Christmas.
It was this past Christmas. Like gingerbread houses, like you'll make it yourself gingerbread houses, knowing people are cooped up at home with their kids.
Pulling their hair.
Do whatever. Just be creative, be thoughtful, and make it part of your business plan. Because for the amount of money you're definitely spending right now on things month to month, like lead gen and lists and this marketing thing and that marketing thing, I guarantee you, taking a small portion of that money and putting it towards thoughtful things towards your existing database will go way farther.
Yeah, exactly.
So
totally agree. 100p.
As always, now you know what to do, which we're not repeating again. But if you were listening to this podcast about 5 minutes ago, you know what to do for some freebies. And if you're not already following us, Katie had mentioned at Level Up for Realtors on Instagram and Facebook. And we're on YouTube, so you can watch the video of this if you're not already, and subscribe to us there, because this is episode, I think, 82 or 83 already. There's some nuggets in that first 80. Some nuggets. And there are nuggets
chicken nuggets. What's your favorite chicken nugget sauce?
Now or when I was a kid?
Now.
Now it's probably barbecue. I feel like they probably introduced like 15 more sauces. Everybody now is like all about this like pizza now. Like dipping sauces weren't even a thing when I was a kid. Yeah. Now there's like 15 dipping sauces for pizza. It's pizza.
Yeah, pizza. I know. Well, but they are good. But
they're good, but like how many calories? And this is from someone who doesn't watch my own health, and even that disturbs me.
Yeah.
I eat it, but it's disturbing when I eat it.
I'm eating it disturbed.
Yeah, it's like it's such like shame. I'm like ashamed of myself. Even like if I say yes, when they're like, "Would you like a dipping sauce?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." I do.
Yeah.
What was your favorite chicken nugget sauce?
Well, when I was a kid, it was honey, but now I think sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour.
It's pretty good. But I mean, I haven't had them in ages because
you can't have them.
I can't eat them, but I do. Like, it looks good when I open it up for the kids. I'm like, oh, it's sweet and sour.
Were nuggets your go-to Happy Meal when you were a kid, or were you more of a hamburger cheeseburger kid?
I think I was chicken nuggets, but I was like our kids. I didn't have anything in the hamburger. Like, it was just ketchup. There was no why do they put onions, especially onions, in a kid's hamburger? Like, what kid wants onions? Maybe some kids do.
Strange. I mean, I never ever modified any of it because I think at the time I never knew that was even an option. I thought you just take what you get.
Yeah, well, I remember taking the pickles out, but I don't know if there was ever onions in our burgers.
I feel like onions. I know a lot of the kids' burgers now in other chains don't have onions. It's like they're onto the fact that kids don't like onions.
It's so stupid. I mean, I know Josh likes onions. Onions are good. Yeah. bring some. I like McDonald's burgers. I mean, I know they're pathetic, but they're actually pretty. I mean, from what I remember, at least, I might be completely off because I haven't had one in like 15 years. No.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't changed in the slightest from when you were a kid.
But maybe our taste.
They seem smaller now because my mouth is bigger. And normally, because all I'm ever eating is whatever the kids don't eat. So I'm eating like quarters of burgers that are like split into pieces.
Drinking the sauce. The
so
chicken nugget sauce.
Yeah. No,
anyway, on that note.
I don't even know how we got on the chicken nugget. Nuggets of information. Okay. That's right. Well, there you go. There's closing nuggets for you.
All right. Well, enjoy your week, everyone. Hope it's a good one. And we'll
got more to come.
Level up.